What is up, people? Paradise here. Just gonna do a little stream here. Anyone's welcome to join. Hit me up in the chat. Say hello. So tonight we are going to be sharing some of Joshua James Bolliero, which is Zenith Atlas channel. If you're not familiar, and he's got some amazing work, so I figure we'll bust some out here. Huh. Water doesn't bend, right? Yeah. Not at all. Mhm.
I think that's cool how it's all lit up top there. You can see right here that dark layer right there. And above it is light. Like, that's weird. The light's up there.
They got some like higher.
That's it. He's gone.
The Russian Geographical Society shows the Earth as concave. It even looks concave in their logo. Yeah, on the stage there's a concave halves, the concave Earth cut in halves. And they also show in their hallway concave Earth maps on the wall. Huge. So yes, the Freemasons show the Earth as concave and the universe is slightly smaller than the Earth, fits inside of the Earth.
Amen.
And also the Russians here are also at the Geographical Society.
Yeah. You know, Putin can't wait to drop that bomb.
Amazing. They're showing the truth in plain sight a lot of times. Just people just don't have their eyes open, or they're unless they're shown how to use them. You know, it's great stuff. Yeah, it's like concave is a winner so far. Makes the only sense in a nonsensical world.
Amen. Oh no, it's Nurubu.
There's your mirage right there. So there's water there you can't see. It's being mirage. It's being washed out by the sunlight. So it appears that those windmills are over the curve, but no, it really is an optical illusion. There you go. There's the mirror line meeting. So unless that vessel is flying and miraging in the air, I'd say that that vessel is still on water that you cannot see. And it's higher than that boat.
Bam. So this footage is courtesy of Zenith Atlas. You can go to his channel there and check out his stuff. He's got a mighty awesome playlist.
Huh. Look at that. Look at that little appearance of a light right there.
I made some errors in my videos, and I have to go back and correct those errors.
Force the line.
The great John F. Kennedy, an error does not become a mistake until we refuse to correct it. So I will correct some of those errors. However, I don't think that anything I've done in my videos is absolutely wrong. I just need to fix some things. But anyway, my last video was released at the end of September. I released it at the end of September. And then I did a radio interview on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. And I was going to keep going with my series, but then, well, I had a wrench thrown in my gears. A very wise retired surveyor.
Yeah, and then I figured out, that it just doesn't work. The Flat Earth doesn't work. So I stuck my tail between my legs and I ran for the hills. Man, that didn't age well. But one of the better Flat Earthers, I have to say that.
32 years. Contacted me at work. He saw my videos and figured out where I worked and gave me a call. We discussed an experiment that he deemed the plumdicular experiment about using lasers, and came up with a way that we could actually try to measure the curvature to prove this. And then shortly after that, he sent me a link to the Rectilineator documentary.
Hey.
Which is actually the backbone of concave Earth theory. Concave Earth basically is the theory that we do live in a sphere. In a sphere, we're on the inside of the sphere, and that the Earth curves up away from us, and we just can't see the curve because of an optical illusion. We do live in a sphere. In a sphere, we're on the inside of the sphere, and that the Earth curves up away from us.
Game over.
Diamagnetism is the tendency of a material to oppose an applied magnetic field. These materials feel a repulsive force in the presence of a magnet. Bismuth, graphite, and mercury show diamagnetic properties. Water, as we will see, is also diamagnetic.
You are being pushed to the earth along with that water. Yeah, by ether. Interesting.
So, how can flat earthers actually believe that's the actual sun right there? 500 yards above the earth. That's stupid. Come on. The sun is not actually right there. How would half the earth have sunlight if the sun was actually that close to the earth? Look how close to the earth that sun is. It's obviously just an apparition. That's where the sun is seen by this camera. At eye level, mind you. The sun is at eye level as well as the horizon. Very interesting, isn't it? Look at that. It's just sliding down your perspective bubble. Look at that. The sun's just descending just like that. No way. That's obviously an illusion, an apparition. The sun's not actually falling to the earth. Look at that. It looks like the sun's about to crash into the earth. Oh no! That's what it literally looks like. It looks like the sun is crashing into the earth. Obviously, that's not happening, which means that's not the actual position of the sun. You just see it there. The way that's possible is because the light's coming from the center of the concave Earth. So we all see it right there above our heads, right in our own sky. Everybody does because the sun's in the middle above our heads. It's so simple. So easy to understand once you actually consider it. Like, oh, right. That makes perfect sense.
Atlantis City was modeled after the concave Earth. They knew that we lived in the concave Earth. They knew that there was a gateway at the North Pole that you had to enter to get through to the center. This city had a citadel. The citadel was the glass dome over top of it.
Wow.
It was man's creation. It was an Atlantean creation. This city was able to float. This whole flat Earth model is modeled after the Atlantean city. Everybody is confused on this. All right? You live in the concave Earth. That is the proper model. And if you want to connect the alien sky to the concave Earth, there's only one way to do it. You have to do it through dimensional transcendentalism, the state of which wherein the object's interior was bigger than the exterior. Okay? You can't have a large Saturn inside a concave
They always
Earth
fight.
unless you have dimensional transcendentalism.
Far end.
Doctor Who started the first season of Doctor Who covers this secret, and it never stops. It goes through every season.
I don't know whether
This is the most important secret in Doctor Who, that the interior is bigger than the exterior.
Oh, come off it.
Fanforst. Then I don't know.
Wake up, young man, it's time to wake up. Your love affair has got to go. For 10 long years, for 10 long years, the leaves to rake up. Slow suicide's no way to go. Blue clouded gray, you're not a cracker. Dizzy and weakened by the haze, moving onward. So an infection, not a phase.
Game over.
The graphene. Hey, bro, what's up?
Hey, bro, not a lot, man. Just call and say good day. See what's doing. How'd you go yesterday? So,
Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday. 200 candles alight, scatter fire through the roof when I call you. Were you there? Were you there? Were you ever? I wish I would see what you see. Wish I would see what you see.
Damn, that is a groovy ass jam. I'll have to say that. It's amazing. Almost as amazing as the southern sky there. Sigma Octantis. Yes. Badass jam.
Hi, this is Chris Salter, and I'm going to show you a simple experiment to determine the curvature of the Earth that anybody can do with a fishing line, a 2-mile long fishing line, even if you have to join the fishing lines together, 2 stakes that you would post 2 miles apart on a calm body of water like a canal or a man-made reservoir. So this is just an example of how you would do it, but this white line represents the water line. So everything below this white line is below the water. This is the surface of the water, okay? This represents the fishing line. This is the tight fishing line. It should be very thick so it can be pulled very tight. Now, if you did this above the water line, obviously a fishing line would not work because you would have sag. It would sag down because of the weight, so it's impossible to use. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get a straight, solid line. The only way we can do that is if it's actually under the water. So we would place this fishing line 8 inches on the first stake that's in this lake or reservoir or wherever you're at that has no waves, stays, very calm water, and you place it 8 inches below the water line. And then 2 miles away, you place the other stake, and again, place your fishing line 8 inches below the water line. You pull it very tight, like a fishing line that you could pull hundreds of pounds. It's neutral buoyancy fishing line, so it is virtually weightless in the water. That's the only way this is going to work. Now, all you have to do, once you've done that, and you have it lined up 8 inches here and 8 inches there, because after a mile, the Earth, on a ball Earth, the Earth curves down by 8 inches down. So in the center of a 2-mile distance, we have an 8-inch bulge. If the Earth, for example, was flat, this would be approximately 8 inches, just like it is on the ends. But if the Earth was concave, it would basically almost be touching the surface, this line, because this line stays straight. This is the curvature of the water. If there is curvature of the water, this is the curvature. So this would be concave. This would be flat if the Earth was flat, and this would be convex if the Earth is heliocentric ball, convex. So concave, flat, convex. This is a simple way to determine the curvature of the Earth. Very, very, very simple.
Want to know?
Alrighty. So, I've been requested to show evidence of upwards curvature. Well, every flat earther has already seen it, including myself. So I missed it too, so I'm not judging anybody. Except for the people that know the truth and are hiding it anyways. So I'm not going to wait till November to start telling the truth. I'm going to tell it right now. I see upwards curvature. Yeah. We're able to see way too far for the convex globe to be true. So there's either concave curvature or it's flat. Yeah. Why is the boat higher than the water? If we know refraction knocks things down, making us think it was a convex globe, if the effects are more than we thought, then maybe there's upwards curvature. Why does it have to be flat? Why does Earth have to be flat for some of you people? I don't get it. Isn't this about science, observable evidence, data? Look at the footage. How can the boat be higher than the water? It's not. There's water there. You just can't see it because of the Atmos distortions. The same reason you think it's flat is the very reason it's not flat. Right there. There's your upwards curvature. Sorry, folks. The Earth is not flat. Now, I was a flat earther for a couple of years, but it just isn't so. The maps don't work. The seasons don't work. The flight paths don't work. The appearance of the sun in everyone's sky for the half the world that has the sun, that doesn't work. There's no 3,000 mile altitude sun. The eclipses, no one wants to touch those. Those don't make any sense. We need a third mysterious body. And magnetism answers that. So, yeah, why is concave Earth such a touchy subject, huh? What, are you guys afraid of Lord Stephen Christ? Give me a break. He's running away from me. He doesn't even want to talk to me. Neither do half of you. Very interesting, isn't it?
I
love you all, guys. Love will come.
That is funny, Josh. That is funny, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the truth, that they are scared. It's the whole LSD thing that freaks them all out. They can't handle it. Yeah. Crazy. Great video, buddy.
Conquer all. If you guys want to be left in the dust, that's fine.
Game over.
All right, so this is another quick little video. Just going to address the claim that the Bible says the earth is flat. I've got many Bibles here. This is a great resource here. This is a great resource. This is a great, fantastic resource. Thank you, Eric. Great resource, great resource. So I've got many of the flat earth books, quote unquote, and I will address these all as stepping stones. Okay? This one's for the flat earthers, right here. This one's also for flat earthers. Right here in this book, right here, it tells you to read this book right here. And I'll show that to you. Right here, it talks about the apparent concavity of the earth as seen from a balloon. So, these are all stepping stones to find heaven, the nucleus, the center. Okay, so I maintain the position that the Bibles are stationary earth books. That we have no argument on.
However, if you're going to try to use the 1537 Matthews phrase where they're talking about setting up tents on a flat surface as opposed to the side of a hill, and you're going to try to use that to say, oh, the Bible says the earth is flat, I'm sorry. You need to read Job 38 again. And so, yeah, I want to address that and say that the Bibles are stationary earth books, but nowhere does it say they're flat. The circle of the earth could just be the circuit of the earth. And the pillars, well, you could have a concave earth, a cellular earth on pillars, just like you could have a flat earth on pillars. So there's just no standing for flat earthers to claim that flat earth is biblical. It absolutely is not biblical. The stationary earth is biblical. So I'll be uploading this to Facebook and YouTube. My name is Joshua James Bolliero, and you can find this at my YouTube channel, Zenith Atlas, if you're watching this on Facebook, and vice versa. So I challenge all of these biblical flat earthers to debate. I know they won't, because they're already aware of who I am, and I'm not going to bother. But for anyone else out there who wants to, or even just talk, have a conversation on air, off air, it's all good. I'm very comfortable speaking about the topic, and I look forward to hearing feedback from a lot of you. All right? Have a great day. Stay safe out there, and don't believe all the hoaxes. And please, for the love of God, read the Book of Wisdom. Here's my camera altitude, but nothing. There we have it. Yet again. Boat's below the opposite shoreline. See that boat closer is a little bit lower than that boat further away. Okay. Camera altitude. 2-3 inches maybe. Have it. Boats beneath the opposite shoreline. I'm going to put this bad Larry so that it's getting wet. I'm going to get my P900 wet for you guys. To show you that entire sailboat
You guys remember the Concorde? Good old Concorde. Supersonic Mach 2 speed jet. Twice the speed of sound. Well, if you've noticed the Concorde, you've seen it, and possibly you've even ridden in it, there's a significant, conspicuous tilt to the nose of the airplane. It's tilted up. Actually, it's constantly tilted up. And what determines whether it ascends or descends has to do with the actual tilt angle of the airplane. I was reading up here in Google Books here. It was talking about the Concorde. And according to this, it says the angle of attack indicator showing 3% of a tilt angle, a pitch angle. That means nose upward. When it's in a positive number, it means the nose is up. On final approach, it reached 14%. So, like, when it's landing, it's even tilting up more severely. So with a pitch attitude of 11%, the descent angle is 3%. So, obviously, when the plane is descending, it's at 3%. When it's finally landing, it tilts up even more. But if you need to lower the altitude of an airplane, you have to adjust the nose, the pitch angle of the nose. It's very simple. And then this is the dead giveaway here, this one right here. It says that the minimum pitch when supersonic is 5.5 degrees. When it's cruising at supersonic speed, okay, it's not ascending or descending, it's maintaining a constant altitude. They still have to incline the nose of the airplane 5.5 degrees. That's drastic. If you remember the previous video where a United Airlines pilot sat next to me, he admitted that in the Boeings, they pitch it up 2.5 degrees. However, with the Concorde, you're going twice that speed, if not more, probably even a little bit more than a regular Jumbo 747. You have to incline it 5.5 degrees to maintain altitude. This is a no-brainer, ladies and gentlemen. It's a no-brainer. The faster you go, obviously, you're going to have to pitch that angle higher because, you're moving within the spherical cell of the Earth. It's concave. And they have to pitch that. They have to pitch it up 5.5 degrees. Minimum. A minimum pitch of 5.5 degrees. Okay. This is a silver bullet. This is the silver bullet. It's the aluminum bullet of the concave Earth. It's a no-brainer, ladies and gentlemen. It's a no-brainer. You're living inside the spherical concave cellular Earth. Thanks for watching.
It's the one where the National Geographic lied to everybody and said the boat was disappearing over the curve when the water line was behind the boat and above.
Okay, so did you hear that? The water line is behind the boat and above it, okay? Let's see if we can get this out of full screen mode because my resolution's off right now. This is what he's talking about right here, everybody. He's telling you that the water line is visible behind the boat. All right, so you've got the boat here. This is not the Salton Sea. This is Joshua's video, the Houghton Island to Winthrop. The the shoreline is behind the boat. Okay, listen to what Nathan's going to continue to tell you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I was more or less asking for its actual physical location because I'm pretty in Southern California. It's got the second lowest elevation next to Death Valley. So it's no, that's right. I wasn't doubting whether or not it's a real place. I was just curious about that. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I was with the Nat Geo thing. They lied to everybody. But then let's say I didn't lie. But all right. I was there, and the water line was above the boat. Right. So it can't be going over a curve if the horizon is above the boat.
All right. Did you guys hear that? So there's two things that he's saying, okay? You can't be going over this curve right here that everybody thinks they live on if the horizon is visible over the boat. However, you have to drop the bomb right here. Flat Earth is not going to recover from this.
I mean, okay, so I guess I'm not. But like without a visual, it's
Love at Flat Earth.
hard for me to really grasp what you're saying. Okay, well, let me go through a couple more of these, then you can pull it over. But the water line is above the back of the boat, and they're saying it's disappearing behind a curve. So it's got to be like falling into a hump in the middle of the lake or something.
Ow! What the fuck did he just say? Hold on a second. What?
A hump in the middle of the lake or something.
What?
Of the back of the boat, and they're saying it's disappearing behind a curve. So it's got to be like falling into a hump in the middle of the lake or something.
Oh, Nathan Johnson, dude, you may have spoke more truth in that sentence than in all the bullshit we've all spouted together. Because,
myself included,
you're right. If you can see the horizon behind the boat just like this, then the water must be making it's concave. We'll keep playing because he says it will.
So I'll get to that in a second. You read what the Green Lakes look like. You said that later in your video. But you said water and reflections off water are core mirrors. Core exact words.
It's a process called sonoluminescence.
The first time I saw sonoluminescence was in a darkened room. I was transfixed to look at this spherical flask of fluid. And you look into the center, and in the center see a glowing blue-purple light, which could be seen with the unaided eye. It looked like a star in the heavens.
Seth Putterman called it the star in a jar, a tiny spot of bright light contained in a flask of liquid. This star in a jar is made when a sound wave is passed through a small bubble inside a flask of liquid. And this sound wave makes the bubble do something remarkable. First it expands, then it collapses. And this collapse happens so violently that vapor molecules trapped inside the bubble slam together and heat up so much that the bubble gives off an incredible burst of heat and light, several thousand times a second, giving the appearance of a star. What made the phenomenon so exciting was the temperature of this star in a jar. On its surface alone, the light burns at tens of thousands of degrees. And Seth Putterman now contemplated a tantalizing possibility. Could the core of the collapsing bubble be even hotter? Hot enough for fusion?
One of the mysteries of sonoluminescence is to determine exactly how hot the interior of the bubble gets. In the sun, the interior can be millions of degrees, hot enough to cause fusion. And the thought crossed my mind that perhaps inside the collapsing bubble, the interior of the bubble might also get hot enough to cause fusion.
If so, this would be something truly amazing. By simply bombarding tiny bubbles with sound waves, temperatures of over 10 million degrees would be created. And nuclear fusion, the same reaction that powers the sun, would be happening almost effortlessly here on Earth.
Mom, do you want me to make you another one?
Cavity. There's not too many boats at the appropriate distance right now. Okay, and so I'll just zoom back in. And we'll do a camera altitude check. This one is. And zoom back out here. And turn around. Camera altitude right there. right. Love you guys. Have a good one. Yep, there we have it. I'm seeing boats below the shoreline way across Lake St. Clair. Yep, there we have it. I'm seeing boats below the shoreline way across Lake St. Clair. There it is. See that sailboat? Pow. Underneath the opposite shoreline. Earth is concave, baby. I was wrong. It's not flat. I am right on the freaking water. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a 360 at this altitude so you can see exactly where my camera is right here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a 360 at this altitude so you can see exactly where my camera is right here. So it's just a matter of finding a vessel that's the right distance away, and you can see that water's concave.
Bye. I'll go again.
The stars being tiny, the sun and the moon being tiny, and everything close to us. The complete universe, housed within the Earth. Does it seem possible? Does it seem strange?
Seasons within the concave Earth. I animated the sun oscillating around the celestial sphere every 6 months. So when it's in the Tropic of Cancer, you'll notice that you get 24 hours of daylight at the North Pole and 24 hours of darkness on the South Pole. And conversely, when the sun is in the south, you'll see that you will get 24 hours of daylight on the South Pole and 24 hours of darkness on the North Pole. Originally, when I animated the sun, I did it linearly. There was no acceleration or deceleration, so I couldn't get the equinoxes to line up on March 21st or September 21st. However, when I added acceleration and deceleration, so it's decelerating at the extremes like that, the equinoxes lined up perfectly. And so in nature, you can conclude too that if something is orbiting around something magnetically and it's oscillating north and south like that, there's going to be acceleration and deceleration. In a heliocentric model, you have to conclude that the Earth is orbiting around the sun in an elliptical path. It's very unnatural. You also have to conclude that it's tilting. You have problems with that too as well. And you also have to conclude that it's precessing or wobbling, because it shows that after a year, the sun is in a different location against the stars. But if you understand within the concave Earth, it's all taken care of simply by the fact that there's two different velocities. Velocity of the sun and the velocity of the celestial sphere, which is slightly faster than the sun. A sidereal year or a sidereal day is 4 minutes faster than the sun. So after a full year's time, the sun is simply just going to be 1/70th of a degree in a different location than the year before. The planets are all magnetically affected by the sun. So when the sun is inclined like that, the ecliptic of the planets, that magnetic ecliptic imaginary path, is going to be influenced by it as well. There's a real retrograde motion to the planets. It's not just an apparent retrograde motion caused by a supposed spinning Earth. It's simply the fact that when the planets go behind the celestial sphere opposite the sun, they're going to get confused magnetically. So they're going to go the other way for a little bit until they catch up with the sun's influence again, and then go the same way that they were going before. Mercury and Venus, they're going to be orbiting the sun. So when they go behind the sun, they're going to get confused as well. So that's how retrograde happens within the concave Earth. The Milky Way band, it's a band, it's not a spiral galaxy. It's actually a literal band that separates the celestial sphere into two different hemispheres, two different magnetically influenced hemispheres that actually steer the sun. So the Milky Way band has a function. So when the sun crosses that galactic plane every 6 months, it's also exhibited by the Ulysses satellite. They showed that every 6 months, the sun is oscillating back and forth. So when it crosses that plane, it steers the sun in the other direction. Like when it's up north like that, it's going to steer the sun south, and then conversely the same when it goes down south. When the sun goes down south, when it crosses that plane, it's going to steer the sun back up north. So it's all being influenced by that dividing line, that Milky Way dividing line. It has a purpose, it has a function. Everything works within the concave Earth. Sunlight is bending around the inside of the Earth. That's how we get lunar eclipses. There's an opposite funnel-shaped void area opposite the sun. When the moon goes through that void area, it gets eclipsed. North or south of that void area, it's just simply going to be a full moon. So everything works in the concave Earth. You've seen that my animation here, I made it a wide angle, so I wanted to include everything. So that's why it kind of looks kind of funky, but it's Occam's razor. The simplest answer is always the best answer. So.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Good times for all here. Is Zachary Zabala, if you prefer. In this video, I would like to show you, well, I am showing you already, still bent water. There is no electric current running anymore. All the static electricity is in the lid. That is a metal lid right here with rubber around the edges so it doesn't discharge off the edge. We have a discharge ball, kinda metallic spray paint on a ping pong ball on a shish kebab skewer, setting on the Van de Graaff with a tape roll separating it. Now what I've done here is I've charged up the plate to be positive. And then what I did was I discharged the Van de Graaff generator. And so the only static energy is between the plate and the discharge ball up here, the plate and the ball. And what it's doing is it's bending the water. You see that? I'm going to discharge it here and I'm going to let it go down. There you go. That's what it should. Oh, it's still got a little bend to it. There we go. But see that now? The water is flat now. I've been trying to figure out how I did it for a while. I accidentally discharged. I'll show you what I did. Charge it up and it pulls the ball towards it. And I could never get it to stay. See how it'll do it and then it goes away? But now watch this as I discharge the Van de Graaff. Boom. And you have still curved water. Just like that. It reminds me of the globe, or the azimuthal equidistant map, but the kind with the northern hemisphere, the central hemisphere plane is bulbed, and then it goes out of the equator and then comes back up around the Antarctic edge. So I just thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that with you guys. Bent, still, flat water, I guess you would call it. I mean, it's not moving. It's still water. It looks very flat, but it also has a bend to it. Just very cool stuff. So that's it. There it goes. It's going wild now. But let me see if I can't get it to bend here again real quick one more time. It's got a little bend to it. We're going to see if we can't get a little bit more. There we go. All right, folks. I'm sorry, it's just still kind of amazing me. But that's it. Good times for all here signing out. As always, thanks for watching.
His palms are sweaty, these weak arms are heavy. There's vomit on her sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking now, everybody's joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, overbound. Step back to reality, yo. There goes gravity, yo. There goes gravity, choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. He won't have it, he knows it's all back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that when he's broke, he's so sad that he knows when he goes back to his mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again. Yo, this whole rhapsody, better go capture this moment and hope it don't capture. Lose yourself in the music, the moment you want it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. The soul's escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring. The superstar is close to post-mortem. It only grows harder. Only grows harder. He blows, it's all over. These homes, it's all on him. Coast to coast shows. He's known as the road trotter. Lonely roads, God only knows. He's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. Well, hold your nose, cause here it goes. The cold water. His nose don't water no more. He's cold water. They move flows, he knows dove and soul nada. So the soul popper is told and unfolds. I suppose it's all partner, but the beat goes on. Da 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 da. Lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better no more games, I'ma change what you call rage. Tear this motherfucking roof off like two dogs' cage. I was playing in the beginning, the mood all changed. I've been chewed up and spit out and booed off stage. But I kept rhyming and stepped right into the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. All the pain inside amplified by the fact that I can't get by with my 9 to 5. And I can't provide the right type of life for my fam. Cause man, this goddamn food stamps to buy diapers. And there's no movie, there's no Mackay Pfeiffer. This is my life and these times are so hard. And it's getting even harder trying to feed and water my C+. Teen daughter caught up between being a father and a prima donna. Baby mama drama screaming on her too much for me to watch. Stay in my spot. Another day in monotony's got me to the point I'm like a snail. I've got to formulate a pop or end up in jail. A shot of success is my only motherfucking option. Failure's not. Mom, I love you, but this trailer's got to go. I cannot grow or it's sailor's not. So here I come with my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I get. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better
We've got two old favourites of optics, of course, a bunch of lenses, and we've got another favourite optical instrument, the laser. But we're not making a telescope or a microscope or one of these standard optical things. What we're demonstrating here is something that's more familiar in another context called strong focusing. And if I can demonstrate this, basically this bunch of lenses here is going to keep the beam confined to their centres no matter what we do up to a certain point. You'll understand what I mean. If I move one of these lenses now, you'll see the beam wriggle from side to side, but you won't see it escape from the set of lenses. Secondly, it doesn't go increasingly further and further off axis. It goes further and further on axis, and it even wiggles to and fro down the lenses. What's going on is that the lenses are much stronger than they need to be. They're magnifying lenses, which means that they are deflecting the light very strongly when the light goes slightly off axis. And it's that effect, that over-focusing, that allows the beam to be concentrated down the middle. And we can do quite a lot to the beam, and we can still keep it going down the middle. And I don't know whether you can see this is happening. We're still going down all that line of lenses, despite the fact we've moved some of the lenses, and we can move them to and fro, and it still continues to go down the row of lenses. And that is the strong focusing effect. Now, in a particle accelerator, a very similar effect is used, except the strong lenses are not glass lenses like these. They're electromagnetic lenses. And the beam is not a laser beam like this one. It's an electron beam, a positron beam, a proton beam, and so on. And that's the effect used at our big particle accelerator centers like Deutsche Elektron Synchrotron, DAISY in Germany, and like CERN in Geneva. Absolutely not. These are cheapest gifts. So this is a lens from the high street, 50p a pop, magnifying lens. And this laser came, believe it or not, for a store famous for providing things for £1, and so it cost £1. Okay, so this is something you might not imagine is very common. Bending light beams. Well, you can bend light beams, of course, if you use some optics. Here once again, we're using these very cheap magnifying lenses. We've got our £1 laser here, and what we're doing is we're deflecting it around an arc by using the fact that the lenses not only provide strong focusing, but they can also provide some deflection. And because we're sending the light down the edge of each lens, that deflection builds up. And over a whole set of lenses like this, you can build up enough deflection to go around 90 degrees, or even more. They need a strong focus, but they also need to bend things around in a circle. They want to repetitively accelerate something in a circle, so they have to deflect. So they have, as well as these focusing lenses, which are magnets, of course, they use dipole magnets, which in optical equivalent would be a wedge. So they would have a wedge and then a focus, wedge, focus, wedge, focus, and so on. So then each wedge or dipole magnet deflects and does no focusing at all, but the strong focusing magnets ensure that the beam stays in the middle of the vacuum pipe and allows them to accelerate it around a complete circle. Yeah, I think so. I think they just love the idea that you can bend light round circles, that light doesn't go in straight lines. Because, of course, they've learnt that light goes in straight lines. And, of course, it does in a vacuum. But once you've got stuff in the way, like glass, it doesn't go in a straight line. It can wriggle around. And they really like that you can bend light in circles. Because, they like learning things and then learning the exceptions to the rule. And learning why their teacher might be slightly wrong.
Dude, you guys are fucking retards, man.
It's just a matter of finding a vessel that's the right distance away, and you can see that water's concave. Those fishermen there are resting in the concavity. They're approximately halfway between me and the opposite shoreline, and because they're the appropriate distance away, they're appearing in the dip in the middle. Same thing here, you can see that opposite shoreline. These guys are a little bit too close. But if you take the time, you'll find boats that are often the right distance away. And you'll catch them right in the middle. underneath opposite shorelines, just like that. Just like that. Got these guys right in the middle of this body of water. This guy's probably a little bit too close. There you go. There's the shoreline over there above the boats. You just got to be patient enough, and you'll catch them. You'll catch them. So I'm just going to zoom back out. Go back in, however you want to look at it. And I'm just going to turn this around so that you can see my camera altitude. Okay, there's a 360, just 2 or 3 inches above the water. Love you guys, have a good one. Okay, camera altitude, 2 or 3 inches maybe. There you have it, boats beneath the opposite shoreline, 1, 2. These guys are a little close for that. So it's just a matter of being patient and finding the boats that are near the middle of the body of water, and you'll catch them in the dip in the middle, underneath the opposite shoreline. But if a boat is too close to either shore, either the nearest one or the furthest one, then it's difficult to catch it inside the concave.